Resiliency really is just not giving up. I've certainly had some times where I didn't feel like things were ever going to get better, but I never came anywhere close to giving up.
I knew that my job and my obligation was to serve the United States Air Force the best I could.
Somebody's always wanting to be the next Megan Khang, the next Maria Fassi. I think it's a huge responsibility that we have as athletes to trailblaze their path.
You're talking about charity, you're talking about sportsmanship. Those are the things that really matter. Just being a great steward of the game.
I hear that sometimes from people saying that, you're brave to admit you have a problem. It was desperation, not bravery. I feel like I had no other option, really, other than to continue to plummet down the cliff that I was headed towards. I had all these dreams.
Really nice rookie year.
Heck of a win for Chris Kirk.
I wanted to play on the PGA Tour. I married the girl of my dreams. Everything was just going according to plan.
Kirk, in his 4th year in the PGA Tour, has made the playoffs every single year. First multiple win season. #1 on the FedEx Cup points list.
Unbelievable. Obviously my biggest win ever, and pretty crazy the 2 years that I've had.
My career was going great. Marriage was great. I had these beautiful little kids. They're traveling around with me.
Go, Daddy. They're a little bit too young to understand what's going on right now, but they'll look back at this with a fond affection in years to come.
And then our oldest one's in school, and so they're not traveling anymore. All these things that had been going right in a row, now I'm just sitting in a hotel room by myself. I just remember thinking a lot like this wasn't the dream. And that's kind of where it started. Me and a bottle of liquor sitting in a hotel room by myself. It was really 2018 when I was drinking a lot and hiding it a lot as well.
In the beginning, I'm like, well, is he? Like, I feel like there's a problem, but does this qualify as an alcoholic?
I was very good at concealing the amount that I was drinking, so I don't think she really understood the full scale of it. I would, fill up those big styrofoam cups about 3/4 of the way with either tequila or vodka and maybe some wine with dinner. And then as the night wound down, I would start drinking my bourbon. If you're talking about shots of liquor, it was probably around 20 every day. I had a few times where I really kind of went off the deep end a little bit. I was just like, all right, I'm having trouble with this. I'm not going to drink for a while.
He thought that he could stop on his own. So from November to April, he was miserable.
I would typically make it about 4, 5, 6 weeks in that range, and then I would have a off the deep end bender.
It was scary. And obviously the most important thing was him getting healthy, but he was not happy playing golf anymore.
I got to the point where I was like, okay, if I am ever going to come back from this, forget about golf. I've got to do whatever it takes right now. I got connected with some really, really great people here in the Athens area that have helped guide me into and through a program of recovery.
Training gives me a great sense of mental clarity and just puts me in a good mood, to be honest.
The relief of waking up in the morning and looking in the mirror and being like okay with who I am and not ashamed. There's just such a weight off my shoulders of the freedom of like, I don't have to do that anymore.
I think one of the biggest keys for me in my recovery has been really a focus on be where you're at. You know, you hear the one day at a time. It's more one moment at a time.
From November 2018 until what is now my sobriety date of April 29th, 2019, I didn't touch a club. There was a long time there where I was just like, I can't go back to that life. And then I started to have the thoughts and the feeling of like, I want to prove to myself that I can do this again. Honda still doesn't seem real sometimes.
And for the first time in almost 8 years, Chris Kirk is a winner on the PGA Tour.
At the end of that tournament, I thought about tying the boys. You know, I just was very thankful for my sobriety, and you know, I know that none of that would have happened without it.
Chris has said that he hopes by sharing his story, his experience, his strength, and his hope that he can help others.
It's easy sometimes to forget how close I came to losing everything. It's amazing to have moments like that that kind of smack you in the face, like, you know, look what just happened, and you know that wouldn't have happened without the course that you've ended up on.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 6th recipient of the PGA Tour Courage Award, Chris Kirk.
I'm really just blown away. I'm beyond thankful for my family, especially for Tani for staying with me and supporting me through these difficult years. And I just am so blessed and thankful to currently live a life better than I could have ever imagined.
Yeah. Let's not fall trying to get on these chairs.
You know? Always got to keep it interesting. You know,
Yeah, you're good at that.
A day in the life.
You're good at that.
Day in the life of Megan Khang. We've known each other since what we were 13, 14.
Yeah.
It's crazy to see how like friendships blossom and how we
just
all
to
just
be
kind
where
of
we're
get
at
to here.
today. It's so cool to see how far we've come, right? Both of us come from very interesting and cool backgrounds. If you walk out on the range, not one of us has the same story on how we got started with golf or how we grew up and how golf really, you know, changed our lives.
You know, I'm living the American dream, truly, you know, first generation Hmong American. And it's just really cool to see like my parents' dreams and aspirations finally coming true.
All we hear is gunshots and moving from village to village because of the war. If you were the American side, if you don't run, you are gonna get killed. It was that simple. And I always tell Megan, you've been very fortunate, even though your mom and I don't have a lot. I'm speechless because without her, without golf, I would never be able to see half the stuff that I've seen in the world.
I'm gonna whoop you.
Golf is boring if you don't play for something. Gotta play for something.
When it comes to marking around the number, I like to do 3 dots to kind of symbolize my family, just the 3 of us. You know, my mom, my dad, myself. That's how we do it. My parents, they came over as refugees around 7, 8 years old because of the Vietnam War.
Good ball. I was born in Laos. During the Vietnam War, you had a choice. You either fight with the Vietnamese against the American or side with the American against the Vietnamese. And I was very fortunate that my family decided with the American.
What up?
We couldn't stay in one place because there was so much gunshot going on. I remember crossing over the Mekong River to Thailand, where they basically put all of us into a refugee camp. In 1976, Congress said, we'll give you asylum in the United States, and we came over. That kid did not speak a word of English, but that kid also knows he's safe because we're away from the gunshots.
Which one do you want?
It's flatter here. Stay here. It's flatter here. I had no intention to learn golf. It just happened to be one day I was bored, and I went to the range, and I came back, and I'm like, wow, it is a really hard sport.
You're looking at the one and only. One and only golf coach.
It started when I was 33, year 2000. I got so addicted, I just hit golf balls every chance I had.
My dad taught himself, never had a lesson, and I'm very grateful that my dad, as crazy as he is, knows how to break down a golf swing and pass it down onto me.
I don't know if it's crazy, I'm a little obsessed. I told my wife, I am gonna learn how to play golf, it kills me. And she said, you need to take care of your kid too. And I said, okay, I'll bring her to the golf course with me.
Sometimes it's like a parent-child relationship. You go like, I'm gonna go find another coach just because you're butting heads so much. But deep down at the end of the day, we both know that whatever he's trying to teach me, it's just for the better of my golf game.
When I found out that she was pretty talented, I had a conversation with my wife. If you let me just get rid of my business and focus on just teaching her, I promise you I'll get her full scholarship. Wake Forest head coach offered her full scholarship to Wake when she was in the 7th grade.
Both my parents gave a bunch to let me get to live out my dream. As much as my dad loved golf and kind of dove headfirst into it all, my mom had to give him like the green light in order to quit his mechanic job. At a young age, I kind of knew that my dad wasn't quite working full time, and we were kind of going off my mom's one income from being a kindergarten teacher. This was sawgrass.
Yeah.
I was a little nervous, me just working, and I'm like, how are we gonna do this?
She's gonna cry.
She's a crier.
Gradually, as I got older, came the college opportunity, and then as I turned 17, 18, it got to the point where, you know, I had the option to turn pro. We kind of just looked at each other, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna turn pro. Like, I'm gonna pretty much bet on myself. The first few years on tour, I was kind of playing well, and then you have the question of like, will I get the first win? This past year and a half is like where it really crept in, where it's like, I've come so close so many times, and I know I can do it. It's just, why hasn't it happened yet? During that Sunday round of Canada, I was like, I'm winning this event if it kills me.
It was funny because I know Megan slept on the lead, but I think me and my wife were sleepless on the lead. We did not watch it because my wife can't stand watching it.
I'm one shot back, and I hit the shot of my career so far.
Oh, what a shot from Megan Khang when she had to have it.
So I'm like, I gotta turn the TV on, right? So I turn it on, and we're like, are you kidding me? All day we don't watch it, and now we gotta turn it on and watch her make a freaking 4-footer face of playoff. If she misses, we're gonna have a freaking heart attack.
I poured it in dead center, and then sent us to a playoff, and ultimately ended up winning.
I'm like, oh my God, my baby just won. So it was exciting. I couldn't hold back the tear. I'm like, oh my God, finally.
Even though it's one person getting the trophy at the end of the day, off the golf course, behind the curtains, it's my dad and I working out here. It's my family. This is a team win from the start.
Golf is a rich man's sport, and to do what we have done is unheard of. But if you have self-belief, the odds in your favor.
To be able to be first generation, first Hmong to win, I can truly say that I'm living the American dream. To be able to get the first win of my career, huge. It's a long time coming. What we do is at a very high level, but at the same time, golf truly is for everyone, and I feel like my dad picking up the game late in his life, I think it just shows kind of the different kinds of ways you can get into golf and how you can grow with the game. And I think now golf is actually becoming cool too.
Yes.
So I think it's huge in that sense too.
Yeah.
With Fosse and friends, you know, you're kind of, you know, trailblazing your own pathway for yourself. So, you know, what is trailblazing to you, and you know what your foundation does.
The reason why I started my foundation, I have a cousin with special needs, and she loved the game of golf, but because of her disability, it was hard to find a place that welcomed her and like kind of opened their doors for her to learn their game of golf. So with Fosse's friends, we're just trying to make it more inclusive, make it fun. Just seeing these kids smile, it's given me a lot more satisfaction than, you know, a good finish on the golf course. And of course, we're teaching them so many great values through golf. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
I feel like that's what it's all about, though, just giving back. That's sweet.
Love it.
One day I'll be like you.
Oh man, come on now.
Hey, Zach.
Hey, buddy. Good to see you, Davis.
Nice to be home here in Sea Island, isn't it?
You come from a golf family, very much a part of your upbringing. Tell me a little bit about your beginning of your golf journey and what that looked like.
So my beginning was, my dad was a club pro. My dad said, I think you would qualify for the tour easily, and then you would make it on tour, and in your second year, you would win. Sure enough, April of my second year, I won my first tournament.
That's what you call the nerves of a 23-year-old. He obviously is one of the rising new talents.
Unfortunately, my dad passed away after a few years of me being on tour, but he set me up for believing in myself. And I just remember going out there thinking, if my dad thinks that I can do it, and I believe in myself, then I will accomplish this.
You know, now that we're not young studs anymore, I think there's some wisdom that sets in, you know, whether we've learned it or acquired it or however you look at it.
What does stewardship mean to you?
Ooh, stewardship, yeah, it's kind of an all-encompassing word, I think, that kind of brings everything into focus. Once you start having some successes out here, that's great, and you know, the media highlights that, the limelight gets in you, you know, it's all about what you've done on the golf course. But the phrase I go to whom much is given, much is expected, you know, and it's a responsibility. It should become less about you and more about others, and that's stewardship. How do you see that manifest in your world?
Well, in several ways. First of all, I was a kid on tour, and Tom Kite and Ben Crenshaw and Andy Bean took care of me. So now when the kids come on tour, I try to pass that on. Like if they need advice, how can I help them? And then secondly, it's the charity part of it. I saw that the PGA Tour is built to raise money for charity. Veteran players built tournaments and foundations to give back. So then I went and did that. It really becomes, I want to win on the PGA Tour, to I want to continue the legacy of the PGA Tour and everything that means.
Well said. If you want to be a proper steward of the many blessings, you operate with that first. Being around great people that also are like-minded in that notion, I think great things can happen as a result. RSM has been a massive part of what I do, on and off the golf course. The support that they have given me to go pursue this crazy game and what I love to do is immense. I would say more so is really the example they've set off the golf course and what it means to be just a great human. The company of RSM coincidentally started in my hometown of Cedar Rapids, Iowa. I so applaud them for wanting to join hands with us and help, even if it was just one kid, but many kids. Whether it's a food detriment or just an opportunity detriment, we want to provide. And fortunately, we have so many individuals in that town that want to help us do that. I mean, my name may be on the foundation and this program might be in the schools, but the wind, if you will, that's pushing the sail is the community. Having guys, peers of mine, come back to Iowa to help me do that, it's just mind-blowing. You know, I'm so grateful because there's a lot of things they could do that would be probably in their better interest, but they don't mind coming to Cedar Rapids on a late Sunday night and playing golf Monday to help these kids. We put together the Zach Johnson Foundation Classic years ago. That 2-day period is really where a lot of our funds come from. That helps us grow, helps us sustain, but if we're gonna get in more schools, which is ideal, we gotta continue to do that. We gotta continue to raise more money. It's very, very difficult, but it's extremely rewarding. It's extremely humbling.
Military taught me many things, but one of the most important things that it taught me, no matter what happens, you got to keep putting one step forward, keep chasing that goal. Without the perspective that the military gave me, I wouldn't be here. Getting to play golf is a pretty big opportunity, whether that's on the PGA Tour, Korn Ferry Tour, or Ren Woods Golf Club, Joint Base Charleston.
Kyle's the first graduate of the Air Force Academy to ever earn a PGA Tour card.
It's been probably 10 years in the making. We took a roundabout way to get here, but we're there. I knew I wanted to play on the PGA Tour from my junior year in college. I knew what I signed up for when I went to Air Force, and just so thankful for that opportunity. All right. I served in the United States Air Force for a little over 5 years. The first 3 of those years being here at Joint Base Charleston. You don't remember me, but I remember you. Kyle Westmoreland.
Glad to meet you, sir.
Yes, I've bought many range balls from you, but in a different uniform. Charleston has a night range, so a lot of nights on the range. I lived in Mount Pleasant, so if I was driving home and the lights were up and it was dark, that's the place to be. When you're on active duty, all of your focus is shifted towards the people you're serving and the troops that are serving with you. Golf was not my priority during my service time, and it couldn't be. If it was, it would have been selfish and I would have failed. My last 2 years, I got a great assignment. I got to go back to the academy, teach at the academy. Hours were not short, but I had access to the same facilities that I had in college. It was really the best segue I could ask for to get back into professional golf, and I'm thankful that the Air Force let me do it.
It's never a straight line. Kyle protected our country, did what he needed to do first before this could happen.
Golf is very small in the grand scheme of life compared to what all my brothers and sisters in arms are doing. We're able to play this game because of what they do. Our goal is to serve through the game of golf, and so if we can do that by seeing some PGA Hope guys for a couple hours, by coming out to Joint Base Charleston every once in a while, it's just an awesome opportunity for us to grow and enjoy celebrating the people who have served the country and allowed us to play this beautiful game. I hope that my story inspires others to chase their dream.
Even if it may be a hard road, just don't give up on yourself.
It's been very cool for me to see that my story has resonated with some other people. It does feel great to know that me being open and honest is potentially helping others.